Right then, so this is about the centre spot, isn't it? How does it feel being here now that it's like this?
Peaceful, home, nostalgic, passion, memories, good times, community, just everything rolled into one.
They're all positive things. I thought there might be some sort of wistfulness.
There was. I struggled to come back here in the first few years after the move, and I think probably like a lot of old fogies, I'd be lying if I didn't say that more or less any time I walk over the bridge to the Emirates, there's something missing. You know, there's that feeling of going to like a sacred place. And when I used to take the turning into the top end of Avenel Road, which is a bit of an incline, and you would see the crowd kind of mingling and gathering and growing and bubbling just outside the main entrance of the marble halls, and you know, the smells and sights and sounds and colours and all of that kind of electricity just sparking. It just every single time, you know, shivers down the spine, gets, you know, that's like feeling where your stomach's jumping, and I can't replicate that to this day at the Emirates, because this is always home.
Nowadays, when you arrive at Arsenal Station, you always head in that direction, and that will take you to the Emirates. But up until 2006, it was always the case that you would head in that direction to Highbury. Finances were always a huge driver behind the decision. Highbury held 38,000 fans, and in the final year, 2005-2006, the club made £44 million. Instantly, once they moved to the Emirates, they made 107% more in one season. It was clear they had to make the jump to a bigger arena.
The first time that Arsene Wenger actually came to an Arsenal match, way before he was manager, he got a taxi from the airport, and the taxi kind of dropped him out at one of these side streets, and he turned around to the driver and said, "But where's the stadium?" And the guy's like, "Oh, it's just here, mate." And Arsene said he just couldn't believe how brilliant it was to have, in the middle of, you know, all these houses and just hustle and bustle of normal life, stadiums just of this magnitude and this beauty just suddenly appears almost like a kind of old-fashioned brilliant UFO, and the beauty of it with the Art Deco exterior as well just has this, something that I think is almost unique in world football. And as a fan, just coming, you know, if you'd arrive and if you just walk down and turn into Avenel Road, the road we're on now, it's a little incline at the top of the hill, and you come down from the top and you would just see this gathering of people and fans and colour and noise and electricity all building and crescendoing in advance of the kickoff. And it was just, you were walking towards, like being drawn in like a magnet. You're coming down the hill, like sucked into this sort of specialness that was right here, right outside the ground. I mean, the Emirates doesn't even have a kind of real proper entrance. I mean, to have an entrance like that was spectacular, and really got you going. You know, got all the sort of blood coursing through your system, excited about the game. And the other thing when I look at that I remember is, of course, the dressing rooms were literally, you see the marble halls with the old-fashioned street lights outside, and just on the other side of that, just above ground level, that was the dressing rooms. And on a particularly momentous day, Ian Wright would literally be hanging out almost by his ankles, like, you know, cheering and singing songs with the fans and throwing stuff out, and after winning trophies and things like that, the scenes around here were immense. You'd never want to go home, but this was home.
When you look around, do you see where you used to sit?
Absolutely.
Is that does it flicker from what it is now to what it was then? I mean, the clock end, and
For sure.
Where was home for you?
Various places over the years. So I mean, I spent the best part of 30 years watching football here. So first game was in the West Upper, and then a lot in the North Bank, where I sort of, had my teenage years, and you felt that rite of passage of growing up on the terrace. And then over to the clock end, when they rebuilt the North Bank and made it all seater, the clock end was where it was at. Yeah. So had a brilliant time there, where the football was as good as it's ever been, and we had many, many happy memories. And of course, whenever I was working, it was the East Upper, where the press box was. And it was a truly magical, beautiful place. And I'm very grateful that even though it's not the same, you can still feel its essence because of the fact that you're standing on a version of a pitch size set of grass, and you've got the 4 stands, and you've still very much got even the gaps in between the stands that were there before are the same. And the fact that you can still feel very much that sense of the Art Deco with the East and the West and there are bits of it that are, they've rebuilt around the original structure rather than mimicked it. And then you can see these little bits, and it's like that was actual, real Highbury, which is fantastic. So you feel that connection still.
When you talk about what it was like, there was a clear identity, and there was a connection between the fans, the players, and the stadium. Has that been entirely lost by moving to the Emirates? And can you understand why it just simply had to happen?
I was a kind of stay at Highbury fundamentalist all along, and even though I knew that was a case of heart ruling the head knew all along that at the time when Arsenal planned to move, it was the sensible and logical and practical and ambitious thing to do. This place, for all of its beauty and magic, couldn't get that much bigger. It's hemmed in by local houses, and you can't go too much higher because you mess about with people's light and space, and the neighbours quite rightly are entitled to say, no, you just can't build 20 more million feet up in the air. There was always issues about if you filled in the corners, that the lack of sort of transference of air would wreck the pitch forever, and the ground staff were like, no, we can't do that. Yeah. And it just became, also, if you're trying to build something that already exists and build around it, it's really difficult compared to smashing something up and starting again from scratch. Any kind of builder or architect will tell you that. So I think in the end they didn't feel that staying was possible. And then came the where and what, and that was phenomenally tricky. And it was a lot of years. I think the eventual paperwork of the documents that they had to run past Islington Council for planning permission were like 1,000-page documents. It was absolutely outrageously, a lifetime's work almost for people like Ken Fryer and Danny Fisman, who were on the board, who oversaw the move. And the stroke of luck was an Arsenal season ticket holder spotting on the A to Z. Kids who don't know what an A to Z is, before sat nav, we actually had books with maps in it, that there was a this sort of what they call brownfield site, a patch of land virtually next door. It actually used to be the local rubbish tip and various other kind of industrial estate. Wasn't the most salubrious part of the neighbourhood, but it meant staying in the heartland, thank God. Because the idea of, upping sticks and leaving this neighbourhood and ending up, with a journey to the M25 or Wembley or some other spot that didn't have a direct connection with the place that has become the club's home geographically, that I think would have been like multiplying the wrench of leaving Highbury and making it a million times worse. People still have their same routines, can go to the same pubs, can go to the same restaurants, can walk the same walks. And a lot of people who come to games make sure they come past here first, which is like it's like touching the magic stone before going off to the match. So that's good that it's all still so close. You can see, if you're in the Emirates, if you're in Highbury House now, and in the offices, and you look across, this is all you can see, and the skyline is the frontage of the West Stand, kind of more or less unchanged. So you feel close to all the important things of the past.
Now, we know that it was a special place to watch football, but it is now a lovely place to live. As you can see around me, the gardens are beautiful and manicured, and there are plenty of other things for the 650 flat residents that live here at the old stadium. They've got a concierge, they have underground parking, they also have a nursery on site, plus a gym to keep fit. What is it like living in Highbury?
Do you know what? It's funny you should say that, because literally as Arsenal just won the FA Cup, it was amazing, because the atmosphere when we went out on the pitch after they'd lifted the trophy was amazing. It's really good. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but my boyfriend who I live with is a Gooner. He loves Arsenal. He's a season ticket holder. So for him, it's like the dream come true. I mean, for me, even not as an Arsenal fan, but as a football fan, you can kind of feel like you're a part of history living here, and you can see with the red windows and all the features, and yeah, it's really great. It's a great place to live. No, when Arsenal won the FA Cup the other day, it was amazing. Yeah. Because obviously with it being like COVID now and all the pubs not being open, everyone was out on the pitch.
Very good.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's a cool place to live. Do you know what? I love it here. So yeah. Okay. And then if you want to go to the Emirates, you literally just walk, like, you'll see it. You just walk up that hill and it's there.